Hi, everyone. Hello. Hope you're doing well. We are here for some Q&A. Awesome. All right, we're going to be doing some Etsy Q&A. We're going to pull some shops open. We're going to go through, point things out that need to be changed. And then we have an exciting training on SEO later today, and I'd love to have you there. So let's start with going into some of your shops, seeing what's going on, and seeing if we can help you out, especially before Black Friday and Cyber Monday. All right. Perfect. So here is a shop. This person is had a shop for a little bit, trying to actively sell and update it and looking for some traffic. Oof, this is a big red flag. Let's go into this one too. I see a lot of trademark violations here. Oops. All right, here we go. Oh, there's not many listings. Hey guys, welcome, welcome. All right. So this shop, what is wrong with this shop? Why is it not seeing sales? Why will it have a hard time seeing sales? No sales in 2 months. So your boost on Etsy is for 30 to 45 days. We all know that. And unfortunately, we are beyond that with this shop. A couple things that I'm seeing is when I look at the top, I have no idea what you want to be known for. What is your brand? What do you offer? I don't know any of that. And this is your most valuable visual real estate. We scrolled down, we only have one featured product, which is your second most valuable real estate. If you do have Etsy Plus, I highly recommend doing the site merchandising with the larger blocks, 2 large blocks, and then 3 medium blocks versus 4 blocks across. And I love that with Etsy Plus because it makes it look much more like a website. Now, my biggest concern is the product mix because it's not targeting a profitable customer. And we are so focused on Christmas stuff right now and holiday that all of these listings, all 17 listings, because they are all holiday specific, except for what, 1 or 2, they will all die in a couple weeks. So if you don't have 100 listings in your shop, you do not want to be putting in a bunch of holiday listings. Sorry, if you don't have 100 sales in your shop, that's what I meant. You don't want to be doing any holiday listings because that means if you don't have 100 orders, you have not created any momentum in the shop. The momentum is lacking, and you only want to put listings in the shop that have the potential to gain momentum. And so what is momentum? You might be thinking, well, what does that even mean? You want to have a listing that can sell faster and faster and faster, and that has the potential to make you a lot of money. These listings only have the potential to make you money in the next couple weeks, and then they will die. And what happens after about like December 15th with these listings, because they're all Christmas themed, the traffic will tank, the conversion rate will tank, and your sales will tank. And so then these listings would become what I would call dead weight. And you don't want dead weight in your shop because dead weight leads to a negative shop quality score, which basically is a fancy way of saying that Etsy doesn't want to show your stuff to other people anymore because it's assuming that whatever you're putting in the shop also won't sell like the rest of your shop. So every listing in the shop, you want it to be, you want it to have selling potential. Okay, so basically no holiday listings, it's really cold. No holiday listings, no Christmas listings if you don't have 100 orders. Otherwise, you're wasting a lot of time and effort, and I hate seeing people waste time. So instead, focus on evergreen products that will sell year round. So things that will sell after Christmas, after January, okay? And things that will also have product market fit. So who is the customer for this? And what is the value proposition, right? Why would someone want to come to Etsy and buy a white star that says joyful, especially if it's not quite centered. You know what I mean? So the spacing is a little bit off. So that is something you really want to consider. Is design. Why would someone want to buy that design? When it comes to a morning checklist, what exactly are they getting here that they, let's say, couldn't get on ChatGPT? Something like that. So keep that in mind. And then what else? Okay, I mean, there's a lot. No white backgrounds. We never, ever want to have difficult to read text when it's something that basically you're selling the text. Okay, so what you're selling in a candle, and let's all be on the same page, what we're selling when we sell a print-on-demand candle, it's not the scent, it's not the beautiful vessel that it's in, right? It's a pretty plain vessel. The scents are pretty generic. This is not like the Anthropology volcano candle here. You're selling the design. You are selling the label. And that is what you are selling. That is the value proposition. So you're selling the label. That is the design. And if you have a design where the focus is text, you have to make sure it's easy to read. And so with this, it's really hard to read that because you put text. Text is a pattern. Okay, let's talk about design a little bit. Text is a pattern. If you put a pattern on a pattern, and that one of those patterns is supposed to be the focal point and the reason people would buy it, we've just lost all the sales and probably the clicks because people won't click on something that is text if they can't tell what it says. So a lot of work to do, Also with text overlays, we got to be concise. 11 ounce, which the 11 is really hard to read in that text. Clear or frosted glass. I don't know that any of that's really important because that's really not what the value proposition is. Clear versus frosted is not going to make someone buy it or not buy it, so it should not be on the thumbnail. We also need very different pricing strategies for this stage of your business. So there's a lot of opportunity, so much you can do here, which is super exciting. We'll pull open this next shop too. We have a good question. How do we know that if we are on the right path? If you have monthly increases in sales and visits, can you just go on the way you are? I would say it depends on what are those monthly increases. Are you going from like 100 visits to 500 visits? Or are you going from like 500 visits to 15,000 visits? Are your sales going from $20 a month to $100 a month? Or are your sales going from $100 a month to $4,000 a month? What is the jump? What is the difference? What is that kind of, what is that net difference there? And I would just ask, is that really, are you hitting your goals right now? If you're hitting your goals, fantastic. Why would you change anything? But if you're not hitting your goals, and you're just maybe you don't know if your business is healthy. A good way to know if your business is healthy is to take a look at the number of listings in your shop. So let's use this shop as an example. 188 listings. Can you see that? Yeah, there you go. 188 listings. And then we multiply it by 20. Why do we multiply it by 20? Because you want to be getting 20 visits per listing per day. And so this shop should have about 3,000 visits a day. And then, what about the views? About twice as many views. That's typically what we look for. So around at least 6,000 views a day, that's what we look for. So if you are not getting towards that, where you multiply the listings by 20 and that's your daily traffic, then, we probably have an SEO problem. What about your other metrics? Conversion rate, right? That would be another one. What is your conversion rate? What are your price points? When we look at, is a conversion rate healthy, then we look at the price points. Price points that are lower should have a higher conversion rate. So if you have products that are, let's use this shop, $7 to $10, then your conversion rate might need to be something like, 7 to 9%. If you have products, if these were a different product that was $200, well, then maybe we're seeing a conversion rate of 1% or 2%. So the higher the price point, the lower the conversion rate can be to be healthy. Okay. Now this shop was actually put into our Facebook group, and it's very concerning because this will probably be shut down. This is like flooded with trademarks issues. So this is just a reminder to everyone that even if someone else is selling something that is a trademark violation, which is against the law, that is illegal, it doesn't mean it's okay. It doesn't mean it's a good idea for you to do it. It doesn't mean that because they're doing it and they aren't getting sued, it does not mean that you will not get sued. So stay away as much as possible from this kind of thing. Okay. Also, a lot of issues with SEO, a lot of issues with photos. Even the designs themselves could use a lot of help. But yeah, if you just don't be tempted to fall into something with trademark violations. All right, we have another question. What do you think about selling jewelry? And which company can you use to make your jewelry? You looked in Printify, they have a small selection. Any company you would recommend? So Courtney, one of my favorite recommendations when it comes to print on demand is actually going with smaller production partners. And I like this because of the flexibility in I would say products, in materials. I also like it in terms of the turnaround time that you can negotiate with them. So smaller production partners are some of my favorite ways to implement print on demand. And if you're thinking, well, I really want to do this product, but I don't want to make it myself, literally you could find a production partner to do that for you. And it's essentially print on demand. And it's going with smaller ones, right? They're more open, they're more hungry for business. They might give you better profit margins on your side and pricing flexibility and everything. So with jewelry, if you're really looking for jewelry and have it be print on demand, I would go with smaller production partners. All right, this person is a new seller, lots of listings and no traffic. Okay, I would love to see this shop. It's not a quantity game. It's a quality over quantity game. More listings does not mean more sales. More listings can actually mean less sales. Does everyone want to see an example of this? Anyone want to see an example? Let me show you something really cool. And look at this. Okay. This person she had 1,130 listings. She removed 1,000 listings from her shop. She went from then selling about 6 to 7 orders a week to then 7 items in 24 hours. And this is over $1,000. And she did that by applying the strategies and removing 1,000 listings. So more listings does not mean more money. Sometimes less listings means more money. And it will improve the health of your business, which will improve your visibility on Etsy. Okay. Etsy ads are, I have strong opinions. Etsy ads, it's probably, in my opinion, depending on your shop, of course, there's always nuances, but for the vast majority of people, it's one of the worst ways to spend your money as a new seller because you don't have product market fit established. It's a very expensive experiment. And if you're a brand new seller, you have to be willing to light that money on fire. I spoke with someone last week who spent over $500 a month on Etsy ads and was like negative $200 from that ad spend. And so spending totally willing to spend that money on ads. I spent $500 to make I give Etsy 500 and then I get $300 worth of orders from that. Well, that's not exactly profitable. So Etsy ads, one of the worst things you can do if you're not seeing traction on Etsy, because ads will not make a bad listing sell. Ads will not make a product that no one wants suddenly be desirable. Ads will not fix your bad designs. Ads will not fix poor SEO. Ads are only as good as your SEO. And if you have terrible SEO, your ad performance will be a dumpster fire. So if you are a new seller and you are thinking, oh, I'm going to spend money on ads and that's how I'm going to get my shop off the ground, like you'll be in for a rude awakening. So what I recommend always, and I think when you get started with organic traffic and see the power of it and see the conversion rates from it, then it's hard to even want to do ads, to be honest. So one of my favorite things to do is focusing on driving external traffic from outside of Etsy for free. Things like Pinterest, things like Facebook. So one of my favorite things about Facebook is that you don't just get, clicks, but you get interaction and engagement. So for example, if I were to put up, let's see, someone's product, if I were to put this up on Facebook and maybe I put up another one that's like polka dots and green, and I would say something like, oh gosh, I can't decide which I like better. Help. Okay, now we're getting customer feedback. You put on your bulletproof vest because you will get ruthless feedback. You will get opinions that are not family friendly. You will get a lot of rude people, but they will be as honest as they can be. And so you want to know from your profitable customer why they would not buy it, what would need to change about it in order to convert. And so qualitative feedback is what you need as a new seller. So for the person here who's spending money on ads, like we have a major issue probably with your customer, potentially with the product as well. So that's where organic traffic and getting that qualitative feedback early on changes everything for your business. Okay. Yeah. So I want you to be hopeful though, because it doesn't mean Etsy is a waste of time. It simply means you're doing the wrong strategies. And of course, you're not going to see results if you're doing the wrong strategies. So don't be discouraged. Think, great, now I failed fast, and I know what I'm doing now. If I just keep doing what I'm doing, that's not going to make it work. So now this is time to do something different, strategies that you're not currently doing. And that's how you'd see a different result. So Etsy, absolutely not a waste of time if you have the right strategies. Okay. This person sells, actually, by the way, before we get too far into this, I do want to invite you guys today in an hour, 2.5 hours, I have a really exciting opportunity. Some of you know I have hang on a second. Okay, hang on. There we go. Okay, some of you know I have a software company called Etsio, and this is here. I'll put it in the chat. We are doing our big SEO training today, and we're doing our Black Friday deal for our software. And with this, the whole idea is you can skip ads. This is all about optimizing your listings and scaling faster without ads. I'll put this in the chat, but it's a free training. We'll be teaching you SEO, and I will also be optimizing listings live on this call. It's at 4 p.m. Pacific, so you just click Save My Spot, and then 4 p.m. Pacific, and then we also have a giveaway. One of you will win a free year of listings. So that'll be really exciting. Who here is coming to this? And just to be really clear, what is Etsio? I'll show you what this does to your listings, but it fully optimizes them for you. So you connect your shop to Etsio. It's pretty simple, as long as I didn't change my password. We'll see. Debatable. We'll see. I'm the person. Oh, good. I think we're connected. I am the person who always forgets their password and then creates a new password every time. So awesome. Raylan, you'll be here. And so this basically creates fully optimized listings for you. You just upload your photo or connect your shop to it, and then you can create the listing for your shop. So, oh, awesome. David, you'll be there too. Great. So that's exciting. And you can add new listings. It's very easy. And that way you'll actually get traffic. So before I forget, I wanted to make sure you could come to that. All right. Let's see the other questions in the chat. This person has 21 print-on-demand t-shirts for Christmas and Thanksgiving with great mock-ups and SEO and digital products for Halloween, Christmas, and Thanksgiving, graphics and game bundles. You have 2 sales in the last 3 months. This is a huge problem. Get all of those. You're going to hate my advice maybe, but I think you've been wasting your time on chasing holidays, because what you're doing is you put all this effort into Halloween. Wow. Right now those listings we're retiring them. It was all for essentially nothing. And those listings don't even live in your shop. So same thing with Thanksgiving. That's basically done at this point. Halloween or Christmas is almost done. So get those holidays out of your shop. No more chasing holidays. 2 sales in 3 months. And if you focus so much on holidays, it's hard to make sure you are prioritizing a profitable customer. What I love to recommend is getting some momentum going on evergreen products that sell year round for profitable customers. And then when the holidays come around, as long as you have over 100 sales, then we are creating holiday specific products for that customer, not just general Santa Claus, ho, 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 Christmas tree stuff. We are actually designing specifically for that customer. And that's going to impact your fonts, your colors, your mock-ups, and we'll make sure that they resonate with the customer that you've acquired. So it's kind of, I would get all of that out of your shop, basically. Okay. Glow content, you're coming. Happy Trail Z too. Awesome. You're coming. Stella, Etsy is very slow for you and you used to get sales every day. So we have what we call the sprint, and it works very well to get momentum going. So I would revert to that if you have access. This person sells wooden urns from India. On some listings, you get 5K a month, but others you don't get a single click. What should you do to improve this? I would love to see your shop and see your listings, and I would bet 100% that I can tell you why you're not getting clicks. Most likely, there is an SEO problem where you might be competing with yourself. But I would know that only by looking at the shop. But I can tell in 5 minutes. This is what I do all day for years now. I will diagnose immediately why you're not getting traffic, why you're not getting clicks, like views to visits, why you're not getting sales. This is like my expertise, my superpower. I do this all day, every day, and happy to take a look if you want to put your shop here. Awesome. You're coming to the Etsio training. Yay. That's great. Yeah. So if you have, and that's kind of a red flag. If you have a one product type of shop, that's a big reason we don't do that. One is just your traffic is it's going to be a battle if you only have one type of product in your shop. And then 2, it really limits the lifetime value of your customer. So how many times, everyone put this in the chat, how many times a year do you buy an urn? How many times per month do you buy an urn? How much money have you spent on urns in your lifetime? And how frequently do you purchase these? Right? This is like a wedding dress. Okay, maybe not that significant or that extreme where, hopefully you just buy it once, but this is like a wedding dress. And I think one of the biggest opportunities, even in the bridal space or the funeral memorial space, is thinking about LTV, lifetime value of the customer. And it's so much easier to sell to one person time and time and time again versus finding new customers and trying to acquire new customers every single month. And so I would love to help you with your product mix in general as well, because when you serve the same customer in many areas of their life, you'll also find your consistency of your sales is just way stronger. So your sales are much more consistent. Your growth is much more consistent because you're not reliant on customer acquisition every single month. Okay. If this person, okay, if I deleted all those listings and switched to selling jewelry, is that a good move? Okay, I think we're focused on the wrong thing. We're focused on the product, not the customer. So it's not t-shirts will not sell, jewelry will not sell. My answer to you here, if you switch to selling jewelry, my answer to you is, well, it depends on who you're selling it to. Who are you selling the jewelry to? Who are you positioning it for? That will determine whether it's a make or break for your shop. So that's where we need to really reframe our minds. Instead of thinking, what am I selling? And being so focused on the product, we have to think, who am I going to sell to? When I started teaching and I built out my Etsy program, I actually wasn't sure at first if I was going to teach Etsy or if I was going to teach e-commerce in general, like how to pick products, how to source products, how to build a brand. Like my mind went so many different ways before I landed on teaching Etsy specifically. And what I thought about was, who do I want to sell to? Do I want to sell to people like my coaching services? Do I want to sell my coaching services to people who think they might want to do some online business? Or do I want to sell my coaching services to people who have already put time and energy and effort into an online business? It's proof of concept. They're willing to spend effort, money, and time on that area of their life, which is Etsy, and meet them in an area that's already has proof of concept. So it's the same thing with Etsy. It's like picking the product and then hoping someone wants it. It's very different than choosing your customer and reverse engineering your product mix. Completely different outcomes. All right, we're going to do a couple more questions here. But if you're just joining me a little bit late, totally come to my training today. I'll put it in the chat again. This is all about SEO. And this is something we are really known for, is getting that free traffic. What I'm trying to see your shop. Fancy Rain. Okay, let me see here. What's the situation? It's like Christmas. We never know what we're going to get. Okay. Okay. Who is your customer? Who is your customer? And I would love to hear from your perspective a little bit about your value proposition. So if you are selling like a makeup bag like this, we have a major problem with our listing structure, how we're building our listings. So how we build these listings needs to change in a significant way. You would actually really benefit from ETSEO that builds your listings for you. But like, who is the customer that would pay $30 for a toiletry bag? So for example, if we look this up, like if we go to Target, here. And then what do we want to do? Women's. In store, because now that they have their online section. Here, makeup bag. Here we go. Okay. So, and then the same thing here. So when we look at what we're selling, and then we want to look at in store now that they have their marketplace. So availability, hang on. In store, there we go. Okay, so like when we look at makeup bags, they're typically like $8 to $15, right? So when, $8 to $15. And so we want to know, why would someone spend 30? That's what I'm asking. Like, why would someone spend 30 or 35? What is the value proposition? And then I think my biggest concern, I think if you are making these, that's a great, amazing skill. That's an amazing skill. My biggest concern is design. And with something like this, it's super important to pay attention to trends, but to translate those trends in a trendy way. So for example, cherries, right? We all know there was a cherry trend that came out last winter. And my concern is when you start mixing the cherry trend with polka dots, now we get kind of 1950s vintage. We don't get the kind of cosmic cherry trend of 2025. So it's about implementing a trend in a trendy way, especially for something when it comes to cosmetics. We also want to make sure, if we're going to use black, we always want to think about even things like stitching color and what colors are we combining with black. So right now, two-tone browns are huge. We're even seeing brown and black combined. But once you go black with light pink or like bubblegum pink, then we get into like 2002 vibes. So that's where my concerns rest. It's with some of the color combinations, some of the designs, even like some of the stitching colors. I think there's so much opportunity to offer beautiful quality, like heirloom quality, handmade, functional products, but I don't think you're attracting the customer that you would want to sell to. So it's all about execution. You have the skill, looks like you have the time. It's now taking your skill and your time and your work ethic and applying it to the right customer and the right product mix. Okay. So I hope this is helpful, you guys. This is my favorite thing ever. This is what I do all day. This is how I help people. And I never want someone to stay stuck. And that's a big thing. Like if you're on Etsy and you're not seeing results, there's no reason to continue not seeing results. We've got to make changes. We've got to pivot. We got to test out some different strategies. And so if what you're currently doing is not working, like you've been on Etsy for a while and you're not seeing results, don't keep doing what you're currently doing, right? Because that will just amplify your current result, which is not what you want. Okay. One more question here. This person says our visits and sales are doubling. Conversion rate stays the same. 150 visits per month and 300 visits per month. You are not scaling fast enough. You are not scaling fast enough. That should be like per listing in about 8 days. That should be 8 days of one listing, your traffic. 150 visits, 8 days, one listing. If that's your monthly total shop traffic, I would say we really need to work on that. And conversion rate can always improve. This is one of my favorite levers to pull because there's so much psychology behind this. And 1% improvements can have a huge amount of leverage and really change the outcome of your revenue. So let's say you're going from a 2% to a 3% conversion rate. Well, you just increased your revenue by 50%, right? Because an extra 1%, which is 50% more people bought it. So conversion rate is, it's high leverage metric to focus on. If you need help with that, let us know. We consistently help people go from like 2-3% conversion rates to like 6 to 9%. And it's one of my favorite things to help people with. Okay. So if you are, there's someone who's 15. Okay, that's awesome. You are doing great. Are you in school right now? Are you out of school right now? I think it's 1 p.m. here. But if you are looking for help, and if what I am saying is interesting to you, and you want to learn more about getting that traffic up and getting more of the right traffic, it most likely is an SEO issue. And I will be meeting, it's a free class at 4 p.m. today. So in 2 hours, you can join me and we will talk about SEO, and we will be actively updating and doing things to listings so you can actually see in real time how to fix things. And you'll also get to know how to use our listing optimization tool. And one of you will get a full free year of listing optimizations. So who would like to join me? I'm going to put the link in the chat again. And I would love to see you there. So please join me. And you just click on the link, you put it here, and then you click Save My Spot. Who's coming to this, by the way? Who is joining us? You just put your name, email, take my phone number out of that, country, and click register, and then I'll see you. Awesome. Fancy Rain, you'll be there. Oh, good. You love using Etsio. We have a super fan here. Yes, this is such a time saver. And you can literally fix all of your listings. If you use Etsio, even if you had 300 listings, you could fix them all in the next few days. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, you're going to be there. Perfect. And one of you will get, seriously, a full year of optimized listings. This is mind-blowing, because think about how much time that would save you if you had fully optimized listings done for you for a year. Will there be a replay? I am not sure if you do the replay. If there is a replay, there would not be the bonuses. We'll have bonuses for people who attend this as well. Let's see here. Yeah, a live giveaway, free year of Etsio. And we'll be talking about what is wrong with your listings, why you're not seeing traffic. Awesome. Oh, good. Thanks, guys. So great. We have some Etsio fans here. So SEO help, traffic help, free traffic help is coming in 2 hours, and I hope to see you there. Please attend. The link is in the chat or the comments, wherever you're watching. And then I'll see you guys soon. All right, let's fix your shops. Thanks, guys.